That was an accident. I never meant to endanger any firefighters, any civilians, not even Supergirl.
So you figured if you booby-trapped a satellite, then your kryptonite would kill Non just in case he went to go check on it?
Didn't work exactly as planned.
It never does with you.
I didn't know Supergirl would show up, or that she'd be affected by the synthetic K in such a surprising...
You're right. You just thought it would kill her.
When I realized Supergirl had been exposed, I started tracking her to see what the red kryptonite would do to her. I saw her let the alien escape. I didn't know what to think. And then tonight she threw Cat Grant off her building.
She killed Miss Grant?
No, Cat has 9 lives. She's fine.
But Supergirl isn't.
I'm sorry, Alex. I came here to make it right. I created red kryptonite. Maybe I can create an antidote.
You better hope so. For National City's sake. Because you just turned Supergirl into the monster you always feared she'd be.
Thanks, everybody. Peter, thanks so much for being here.
Thanks for having me. I feel like we should do some karaoke or something.
Oh, my God. We're gonna. Minute 5. Yeah, we're bringing out the karaoke machine. What's your song?
Johnny Cash.
Is
Ring
that
of Fire.
That's your karaoke song?
That's the only thing I can sing, because he doesn't really sing it, right? He just...
Right, it's kind of monotone.
It burns, burns, burns. That ring of fire. That ring of fire.
Nice.
Hey.
Supergirl, right? So you are Maxwell Lord here. You are in many ways, you're not necessarily the villain, but you're not really Supergirl's friend. Can you talk about your character?
Well, it depends on who you ask. I mean, if you're asking Maxwell Lord, he's not the villain. Supergirl's the villain. So, you know, he kind of lives in a gray zone. I mean, he's trying to do good, but what he thinks is good for humanity. And, I mean, he's not motivated by money because he has money. He's not motivated by fame because he has fame. So, for him, it's all about solving humanity's problems ourselves and not having any outside influence of aliens, you know, helping us. Because in his world, he has trust issues. So if you look at it that way, he's not a villain, but because Supergirl is the hero, he's kind of a villain to her.
This character tracks back pretty far in terms of the mythology in this DC universe, right?
Yeah, he created
Justice League,
Justice League,
right?
yeah.
Like the first incarnation of the Justice League or something?
Yeah, but I think it's because he wanted to control them. He's kind of a control freak.
When you take a character like this on that has a sort of a mythology in the comics and such a long history, do you feel the need to sort of dive into that? Do you feel the need to do a lot of research? Or is this the kind of situation where it's like, it's going to be different in every incarnation?
It's going to be different in every incarnation, and the good news was I was the first person to actually play him live. So no one's ever played him before, so I had no one to actually look at and say, well, this is how they play them. So I got to a fresh page to create him. But I did look at comics, but he changes in the comics too. I mean, in one comic he has like powers that he can mind manipulate people, and in another comics he's almost like Tony Stark, where he builds suits and stuff where he can fly. So it's this world is very different, and I specifically tailored it for this world.
Tailored it for this world. I mean, in what way is this world different? It's not specific.
Well, he doesn't have any powers,
right.
In this. I mean, I always looked at him as a cross between Donald Trump and Elon Musk.
So definitely a gray zone where Elon Musk is doing some good things for humanity, and
but
Donald Trump is doing Donald Trump things.
That thumper of like, I've got, I can't do Donald Trump, but nobody should do that.
Have you ever wanted to get on set and do a Donald Trump impression when you're talking to Melissa Benoist as Supergirl?
No, I can't. I can do a walk-in impersonation.
You can do a Christopher Walken impression?
Give me a line to say. I'll try it.
Supergirl, I'm gonna blow up the universe.
Supergirl, wait, I can't do it. Supergirl, I'm gonna blow up the whole city.
Yeah, that was pretty good. I've tried to do a Christopher Walken impression my whole life, and it's I can do like one word, and then the whole thing just goes downhill from there.
Just trails off. I heard that he takes every punctuation out of the script, so he just doesn't know when to start and stop sentences.
I heard one time that, not to go down the Christopher Walken rabbit hole too far, but I think it was on King of New York, Abel Ferrara said that all of those pauses are only just because he's forgetting his lines.
Oh, maybe. Maybe I should try that.
He's like trying to remember them.
Yeah.
How did you get this job? How did you start working on Supergirl?
I had a meeting with the creators, and they said, we like you for this, and I said, I like this show too. I mean, I have 3 daughters, so I thought it would be really fun to do a show that I could, watch with them, and I like the idea of it, and I like the character specifically. So they talked to me a little bit about the character and who he was. I don't think I had even read a script at that point, and then I signed on.
Do your daughters watch the show?
Yeah.
What do they think of it?
My little one comes home and says, everyone at school says you're the bad guy. And I'm like, well, it depends on who you ask.
And then they enjoy watching it? I mean, can they sort of buy into you playing a character, or do they just sort of see you on screen and go, Daddy?
No, I think they buy into the character. I mean, when they were younger, I remember my youngest, she was like 5 at the time, and I was doing Twilight, and she was actually talking. Oh, thank you. It's a little movie.
Still happens.
I was doing this little movie called Twilight, and she was actually talking to the TV because she thought I was on Skype. She's like, Daddy's not talking back to me, and he has weird blonde hair.
What did you think when Twilight took off the way that it did?
I think we were all surprised. I mean, when we signed on, there was a cult following of the books, but I don't think any of us thought it was going to be as big as it was. I mean, I remember when we shot the first day, I was like, no one's going to see this movie, because it was such a horrific shoot that day. It was raining, and everyone's makeup was smearing, and it was a hard day. And I was like, I looked over, and everybody looked like they were in the kabuki makeup, and I was like, we all look ridiculous. No one's going to see this movie. But it all came together, and people enjoyed it, and we got to make lots more. So thank you for that.
That's such a weird thing when it comes to shooting movies, and sorry, I totally stepped on all of your applause. That's such a strange thing when it comes to making movies and making pilots for TV shows. You want to be able to trust your gut and your instincts as to what's going to take off and what's good about what's happening there, but you really don't know until the final product comes out and the culture responds to it.
I go with the George Costanza method and do the opposite of whatever my gut tells me to do, because I'll look at things and go, this is really good, and then no one sees it. And then there's stuff that's like, I don't think anyone's going to see this, and then people do. So I have no idea.
And that happened on Twilight. You walked in.
On Twilight, I passed on Twilight originally because my agents called me and said, do you want to do a vampire movie? And I was thinking like blood and gore and like some Bela Lugosi movie, and I was like, no, I don't want to. I was thinking like a horror movie, and I said, no, I don't want to do that. And they were like, no, it's based on these books. And I read the books, and I was like, well, this is a beautiful love story. Like, it's a lot more than that. So I went in and read for that.
You read for that. You told me that you're in the middle of shooting a pilot right now, right?
Yeah. Actually, let me go back, because I read for that, and I didn't get the role. I didn't get the role
You
of Twilight.
turned it down, then you read for it.
I turned it down,
and then
the initial audition. And then I went in, and I was on a short list, and then I was really excited because I wanted to get the role, and then I heard they went with somebody else. And I was so bummed. And I remember I had such a good time reading with Catherine Hardwicke. She actually read the role with me, and yeah, which was weird because my scene was the scene where I'm kind of like on top of Bella and Edwards. There's the end scene, and so I'm like almost sitting on top of Catherine Hardwicke. I was like, I hope no one walks in right now. This is gonna look weird. But we had such a good rapport, and I really enjoyed her. And I was sitting in a casting office days later after I didn't get the role, and I said, there was this vampire book, and it said 50 years of vampire making in Hollywood. And I was like, great, the universe is rubbing it in that I didn't get this role. But I jotted down the name of it, and I sent a copy of the book to Catherine, because I said, look, I'm bummed I didn't get the role, but I hope this book inspires you to make a great vampire movie. Really enjoyed working with you. And the other actor fell out, and she had just gotten my book that day. And they said, who do you want to go to? And she was like, well, what about Peter? So it was a token gesture that came back.
Had that ever happened to you before?
Where I bought my way into roles?
Not necessarily bought your way, but sort of
1999?
got a role through sort of outside means, or sort of went above and beyond outside of the audition to get a role.
No, it's such an interesting process because art is subjective, right? So I tried to take it with a grain of salt, because I remember going in for one role once, and the role was for a kid from Queens that grew up in the 80s. And
you grew up in Queens, right?
I grew up in Queens in the 80s. And I was like, I'm perfect for this. And so I went in and I read, and the director was, I was calling my agents the next day going, how did it go? And they told me, the director doesn't think you're right for it. And I was like, how could I not be right for that? I mean, if anything, if I'm not right for that, I'm not right for anything. And so again, I was bummed, and the movie fell apart, and they went to make it a year later, and a new director came on board. And he was like, let me see the audition tapes of the previous directors. And from that same audition tape, he looked at mine and was like, this kid's perfect. Oh, wow. And so one director was like, not right, and this director was like, perfect. Same exact audition. So it's like, it's all subjective, and you never know, and you just go in and you do your best and see what happens.
What is a role that you auditioned for that you lost out on that was like that could have been a life-changing role? Do you have those? I imagine everybody working at your level has those.
Yeah, of course. If I had a resume with second place, it would be. I have a pretty good resume. Requiem for a Dream, I was second to Jared Leto, and Entourage, I also was up for Vinny Chase, and I didn't test. They asked me to come in and test. It was between me and Adrian. And the money wasn't right, so I said, you know what, I'm not gonna do it. But I never look back and say, I woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's like if I did that role, then maybe I wouldn't have done this. So. Well,
the role of as an actor, you can never really look. You can't have that perspective of looking back at all because
they're all lead to other things, and if you do one, then maybe another door doesn't open. So you just kind of, whatever your career is meant to be, it is, and you just keep moving forward.
I feel like even actors who've made classic films, like even like The Godfather or something, if you bring them up, so those actors are like, kind of like, it was the past, I made it. I know everybody loves it, but that was just a thing that I did in 1968, leave me alone.
You're only as good as what you're doing today.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're doing Supergirl today. Do you enjoy being on this show and working with Melissa and the whole cast?
Yeah, I love it. They're really fun. They're really fun. Melissa, it's such a good family. Those people are really great to work with. And but I'm working on a pilot now called Ubiquity for Fox, and that's fun. I play a vet. Yeah. See, that's what you get. You get snickers when you say vet. I was like, how do you make a vet sexy? But
you smiled.
Yeah, smile. Hey, they like animals. That's sexy. But it's based on a book that what they're doing now is they're mixing vet medicine with human medicine. So they actually have physicians that are working with veterinarians on solving cases for animals and also for humans. So they're actually starting to work together. And when you think about it, a veterinarian,
This is a procedural?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
The veterinarians actually have to do even more schooling because they have to treat hundreds and hundreds of species, and physicians only have to treat one. So, they actually know a lot more.
Now, I have to ask you, you're on this stage. I think my first introduction to you and many people's first introduction to you is Can't Hardly Wait. Yeah. As Jennifer Love Hewitt's boyfriend or ex-boyfriend in that film. Do you get called out on the street at all for that movie?
All the time. Yeah, people always yell out lines from it.
It's a generational movie where I feel
Who's gonna want you now, man? Duh.
And that's got to be something that when you saw that, you would never have expected it to sort of have the lasting impact.
No, I mean, even when it came out, I think it was like 4th in the box office. It wasn't like #1 at the box office. But, movies sometimes, if it stands the test of time, that's when you know it's successful. And that one did. And
it was a movie when I was in high school that there was an extended period of time where every time there was like a high school party or a sleepover, Can't Hardly Wait came on. It was just like it was just that movie.
Well, it's one of those movies that speaks to almost every generation because every generation has those cliques, So everyone that goes to high school understands those cliques.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have some time for questions from the audience. Does anyone have any questions?
Yeah. Hi, my name is Marissa. I'm sorry for my English. I'm Brazilian, but I will try.
Hola.
Hola. So, what do you think is our superpower that we don't use too much?
Superpower that we don't use too much?
Yes.
Love. Honestly, it's love. I was thinking about that the other day. You read these terrorist attacks, and I thought, why don't we have empathy attacks? Where people just come in and they just give, like, hugs. Wouldn't that be nice? Have empathy attacks? I got hugged today. Spread love.
Next question.
Hey, Peter. Love your role on Nurse Jackie.
Oh, thank you.
How is your role on Supergirl different from all the other roles that you've done in the past?
Well, I kind of have a little beard in this one. Well, I think everything I've done is a little different, you know? So, I mean, I always thought it'd be really fun to invite all the characters I've ever played to a party. And then Mike Dexter would be hanging out with Maxwell Lord, and Maxwell Lord would be hanging out with, like, the guy that I played in Scorpion King, and the guy from Scorpion King would be hanging out with Dr. Cooper, and Dr. Cooper would be hanging out with Carlisle, and they're all so different, you know? So, I mean, yeah, Coop is like a 12-year-old, and you know, in a 30-year-old's body, and Maxwell Lord is, he's kind of a savior of the world in his mind. He's smarter in a lot of ways.
Next question.
Hi, thanks for being here.
Thank
so
you.
my question is, besides love, what would you what superpower would you have? Like insane
I would choose flying, mostly because I missed 3 flights in 2 weeks. And yeah, this past 2 weeks, I don't know why I keep missing flights. I've never missed flights, but I missed 3 in the last week and a half, and I almost missed the one coming here today. I wrapped at 2 a.m. I haven't slept yet, by the way. Maybe I am a vampire. I wrapped at 2 a.m. and I was like, I'm not gonna go to sleep because I'll miss my flight. And then I started, making notes on the script that I'm working on, that we're shooting. And then I looked up and it was 5 o'clock. Like I just lost track of time, and my flight was at 5:55. And I was like, there's no way I'm gonna make this flight. So I ran downstairs, and then I realized I don't have my wallet, and I had to run back upstairs. And then I ran downstairs, and I got in the car, and I said, please get me to the airport in 20 minutes. And the guy floored it. I don't know how he got me there. And I got there with like seconds to spare. And then I had to do another show when I landed, and I had like 45 minutes to get there. And so I'm racing through the airport, and I'm walking really fast, and this kid comes running over, and he's like, hey, are you Peter Facinelli? And I went, no. And he goes, yes, you are. I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, yes, you are. I was like, nope, that's not me. And then I felt so bad, and I just turned to him. I was like, look, I'm going to do this show, and I have to be live in 45 minutes, and I'm not going to make it. And he was like, do you have time for an autograph? I was like, how about a picture? And he was like, yeah. So he's shaking with his camera, and I'm shaking because I'm going to miss my show. And yeah, but I made it.
I love that he probably knew that you were Peter Facinelli because of how quick you were to say no.
Yeah.
You weren't. Like anybody else would be like, wait, what? What are you talking about? And you're just like, no, I'm not.
That guy sucks.
Next question.
Hi, my name is Beatrice. I'm also from Brazil, so I'm sorry for my English.
That's okay. I'm sorry for mine too.
Was Comic-Con part of your life, or it was a challenge into grow into this culture universe to give life for Maxwell Lord? Do you want me to repeat?
Yes,
Sorry.
please.
I'm too nervous. Was Comic-Con part of your life?
Was Comic-Con part of my life?
Yeah, or it was like a challenge, grow into this universe to give life of your character in Supergirl?
So it's 2 questions, I think. Was Comic-Con part of your life, and was it a challenge to sort of grow into the character of Maxwell Lord in this universe? Sorry, is that okay?
Yes, Comic-Con was definitely part of my life, and I loved the fans, and I loved being able to like go and see them and hang out with them. I mean, look, if you guys don't show up, then there's no point in doing what I'm doing. So, I mean, the fact that there's people excited to see my work makes me excited to give back and see them. And as far as the Maxwell Lord character, whenever you're doing a character, it takes like a day or 2 to kind of settle into it, and then it clicks, and then you go, and so yeah, it was a challenge to find him in the beginning, like for a day or so, and then when I did, then it was like, okay, you know who this person is, and you go.
I think this is our last question right here.
No.
Hey.
We could maybe take one more if there is one.
Hey, Peter.
Hey.
I really like the show. I feel like it's really true to like the character of Supergirl and maybe the universe more than maybe some of the Man of Steel movies. But I was wondering how you and the cast, how you guys all get along, and like, is it easy or is it fun on set?
It's super easy and fun. I mean, it's one of the nicest group of people I've worked with. Very hardworking, talented. Melissa, I mean, she has to do so much, action and drama and like green screen stuff, and to be able to work with somebody who never complains and is always happy to be there is just it trickles down from the top, and that's why everybody's just happy to be there, because everybody looks at her and goes, well, she's happy and excited, we should be too, and that's important because when you're number one on the call sheet and you're the leader of this group, to give that energy out so that everybody else kind of follows suit is important.
So Batman vs. Superman it came out this week. Is there ever going to be any connection or tie-in to the sort of TV DC world and the movie DC world? Are they entirely separate?
I don't know. I mean, right now it's separate, but I mean, Marvel does it so seamlessly, so it would be nice.
Agent Carter is in the Avengers, I think, and he's got a show as well.
I mean, the way Marvel does it is really nice, and they have film actors mixing in with TV and TV actors. I mean, it would be nice for DC to do that, mainly because I'd like to be in the DC movies to play Maxwell Lord. That would be a lot of fun.
But I think there's a different Flash in the cast for the movie Flash that's coming out and the show Flash. So it seems like they kind of separated it a little bit. But I'd love to.
So I'm out.
Well, I'd love to see you and Melissa Benoist in one of these big $400 million movies that they're.
That would be nice.
Right now.
Putting it out there. One more?
Do you have one more question out here, guys?
No.
No. Okay. I have a question. Supergirl, it's on CBS, right?
Yeah.
How many more are left of the season?
Oh, that's a tough question.
Got a few.
16, well, I think that was 17, 18, maybe 4, 3 or 4.
And the show's on Monday nights, right?
Yeah, and the finale is a 2-part finale, and that one's a good one. And I can't say what happens, but Maxwell Lord plays a big part in that, so make sure you check it out.
Awesome, Peter. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.